welcome back to another episode of Tea Time with Tangi. I'm your host, Tangi. I am a all things family-related attorney. What does that mean? Well, I focus primarily on family-related issues such as immigration, family law, and family estate planning. And please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to this channel just so that you stay up to date on when I post new videos every second and fourth Thursday of every month. And today I'm going to be talking again about another humanitarian immigration benefit. Last episode, I spoke with you about TPS, which is temporary protected status. And today I'm going to be talking to you about a T-Nonimmigrant Status, aka T visa. So please make sure that you understand that this is just general information. No legal advice is given. No attorney-client relationship is formed. And also, immigration, as I mentioned before in my prior videos, immigration laws change often. So just make sure that you research the law to make sure that what I'm stating is still current and good information, because sometimes the law changes. And so I don't want you to rely on the information in this video and the laws have changed. So just make sure you research just to make sure that what I'm stating is still current. And so before I jump into the legal tea, I hope you grabbed your tea. And let's go ahead and dive into today's topic. All right, so what is the T-Nonimmigrant Status, aka the T visa? Basically, it is just a temporary immigration benefit that is granted to certain immigrants who are victims of severe forms of human trafficking. There are two types of human trafficking. One is sex trafficking, the other is labor trafficking. This video is going to focus solely on labor trafficking and what are some of the red flags to be looking for to determine whether or not you are a victim of labor trafficking. So what you should be looking for when it comes to labor trafficking is whether or not your employer is doing certain things that would not be what a standard employment looks like. So I use maybe like a farm worker or a religious worker who is brought over to the United States, and they have all these promises that were made to them that, you know, you would be able to have this type of work, you would make this kind of amount of money, and you would be afforded certain type of immigration benefits if you come here and work in the United States. But then when you get here in the United States, things are not what they were promised you. So, for example, maybe someone is making you work excessive hours. So you're working maybe 12 to 18 hours a day when you were told you were only going to be working 8 hours a day. Or you're told that you were going to be getting a certain amount of money and you're not getting paid at all, or your checks are being withheld and they're telling you that you need to do this before you can get this money. Some other things to be looking for are they are withholding your passport or any other identification documents. They've promised you that they would apply for certain immigration benefits. That has not happened, and maybe you're now out of status. So they then use threats to have you deported because they know that you're not in status anymore, but they tell you that you need to continue doing, you know, all these different types of things that you're not supposed to be doing. For example, maybe, you know, like I said, if you're a religious worker and you came here to work in a church, but then they have you becoming like a nanny or a housekeeper, and those were not duties that you were told that you would be doing when you came here. So those are some red flags to look for. There's even things of, I've heard of, you know, clients telling me that they've been withheld without food even. So those are not normal. Okay. So you should definitely speak with an attorney if you feel that you are currently in that situation, or you may have been in that situation in the past, because labor trafficking and sex trafficking don't have to be currently taking place. These are things that have kind of happened in the past. Even if it has been 5 years ago, you can still look into claims of labor trafficking and sex trafficking as well. All right. So those are that is what the T non-immigrant status is. And that is some of the red flags that you need to be looking for to determine whether or not you have in fact been a victim of human trafficking. Okay, so let's talk about the eligibility requirements for filing for the T non-immigrant status application, aka the T visa. You first need to be a victim of severe form of human trafficking. That is what I mentioned previously. You need to have been either a victim of sex trafficking or labor trafficking. And then you need to be physically present in the United States due to that trafficking, okay? And then you also need to make sure that you report the trafficking and that you comply with any request from law enforcement. Now, there are some exceptions to reporting. Maybe you're a minor, but those are some things you talk about with your attorney if you are looking to apply for the T non-immigrant status. So again, you need to make sure that the crime has been reported, and an attorney can help you report to law enforcement about your sex trafficking or labor trafficking issues that you may have had, okay? And then also you need to demonstrate that you would suffer severe hardship if you were removed from the United States. A lot of times, if you have an open investigation going on, you may need to stay here in the United States, or your country may just be too dangerous for you, and you may be even victimized even more by being, returned to your home country. So that is the other part of the requirement. And then lastly, you need to make sure that you're admissible to the United States so that you don't have any inadmissibility issues. And that's something you can talk about with your attorney. Things like if you have any criminal activity that you actually committed a crime, or you entered in the United States without inspection. Those are some inadmissibility issues. So those are some things you want to talk about with your attorney as well. Okay, so those are the eligibility requirements to apply for the T non-immigrant status application. All right, so let's say you filed for the T non-immigrant status application and you got approved, it got granted. What are some of the benefits that come along with having a granted T visa application? Well, one of those is that you are going to now be able to work within the United States. So you would be granted an employment authorization document, which is a work permit. And so that will allow you to be able to work and make a living for yourself. Another awesome benefit from having the T non-immigrant status is that it's good for 4 years, and then within those 4 years, within 3 years of the 4 years, you are then able to or eligible to be able to apply for lawful permanent residence, meaning you get to apply for a green card within 3 years of having the T non-immigrant status. So, and then we all know that once you have the green card, that leads to citizenship. So it's a pathway to citizenship, which is awesome. And then the last thing that is another great benefit of having the T non-immigrant status is that you can have your certain qualifying members of your family can also benefit from the T non-immigrant status, so long as they are qualifying members and meet the requirements for the the T non-immigrant status. So people like your spouse, your children, even siblings can also benefit from having the T non-immigrant status if they don't have status here in the United States. They can be living here in the United States, or they could also be living abroad in order to benefit from your T-Nonimmigrant status. So that is it for the benefits of having the T-Nonimmigrant status. All right, so we have come to the conclusion of today's episode of T-Nonimmigrant Status, aka the T visa. I thank you so much for tuning in. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Again, if you believe that you are a victim of severe form of human trafficking, whether it be sex trafficking or labor trafficking, please make sure to contact an attorney in your area. You can also reach out to me. My contact information is on my About section of my channel, and you're more than welcome to talk with me about your case and see if you do have a case for maybe applying for a T visa. And that is it. I hope you have a great rest of your week. And until then, see ya.